This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good Sunday evening, everyone. Fire officials are investigating the cause of yesterday's chimney fire in North Fargo. The Fargo Fire Department says no one was hurt in the fire thanks to a passerby who was walking their dog and spotted the flames. They acted quickly, calling 911 and knocking on the front door to alert the family inside. That call came in just after 8 last night. Firefighters were able to keep the fire contained to the chimney and the roof immediately surrounding it. The damage is estimated at $15,000. Several changes are coming soon to the U.S. Army's grooming codes. Nearly all of them will impact women. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie explains what they're doing and what the goal is behind these changes.
2021 brings a new makeover for the U.S. Army. Inclusion will now be a part of their look. Women can soon wear nail polish, lipstick, and earrings, as well as their hair in more natural styles.
Watch these movies back in the 30s, 40s. People put on a suit and tie or a dress just to go to a baseball game. I mean, fashion codes are going to change over time, and the military has got to accept that.
The transition has Navy veteran Dave Rice thinking back to his days in the service.
When I was active duty in the early 70s, that was introduced. We could actually have beards and sideburns as long as they're neatly trimmed, and a lot of people back then thought that was pretty revolutionary.
The goal is the same now as it was then. Promote health, wellness, diversity, and recruitment while keeping a professional appearance. It was decided by a 17-soldier panel, including 15 women.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Relax some of these standards to make our men and women feel more comfortable.
There are many stipulations to the new guidelines. Many question how it will be enforced.
I'm sure they're going to have some growing pains introducing and accepting these new regulations.
Right now, women make up about 15% of the Army. As for the men, wondering if beards will be allowed, the short answer, no. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
These changes will go into effect next month. We'll have the full details on our website. Just click the story on our homepage. The North Dakota Highway Patrol is warning drivers to slow down and be extra careful on icy roads. This comes after 2 injury accidents in the eastern part of the state. An 18-year-old was seriously injured in a T-bone collision on I-94 last night. Marin Shetler of Bismarck was heading east towards Valley City when she began to spin out. She crossed into the westbound lanes where another car slammed into her driver's side door. She had to be extracted from the car and was taken to Mercy Hospital with serious injuries. The occupants of the other car were also taken to the hospital, but are expected to be okay. The second crash happened in Dickey County on Friday night. Lane Cornwell was heading north on Highway 281 when he entered a curve that was covered in ice. He swerved into the opposite lane and hit another car head-on, sending both into a ditch. Everyone involved was taken to a hospital in Aberdeen. Only Lane's passenger was seriously injured. Both crashes are still under investigation by the North Dakota Highway Patrol. And more winter weather is heading our way midweek, but first, Nathan tells us what we can expect in the morning. Nathan?
Yeah, Stacy, things are going to be a little bit dicey as we head through the middle part of this week, but for tonight, I still could see some slippery spots for that morning commute. Look at our travel forecast for tomorrow. I'm saying a yellow light. Take caution for your 8 a.m. commute and watching for some fog, some patchy fog at that. As well as some of that fog could be freezing on some of those cold surfaces, so we could see some slippery spots on those roadways. But as we head through the lunchtime hour to that evening commute, I'm giving you all systems go. I'm expecting some sunshine and quiet conditions as we head through the rest of our Monday, the first day of February. There's satellite and radar. You can see some of that lighter gray there indicates some of those low clouds and some fog moving its way through the Devil's Lake Basin, through Fargo-Moorhead, Lakes Country, into Lake of the Woods area as well. But notice that little splotch of clear sky in the northern part of North Dakota and Minnesota. That's where we have the coldest temperatures. So just that little pocket of clear sky is yielding a 9-degree temperature right now, and how the rest of us are insulated from those coldest temperatures, 20s for most of us in the Southern Valley. But Stacy, of course, as you mentioned, a bit of a wild week of weather ahead with some snow and even some Arctic cold coming for next weekend. We'll talk about all that in a couple minutes.
All right, Nathan, thanks so much. More than 100 million Americans are now under a winter storm warning or watch today. Snow is expected to fall tonight in the Northeast, and it could continue through Tuesday. Already, a thick layer of snow has fallen in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Dan Scheneman has the story.
In the Midwest, it's time to dig out. Up to 6 inches of snow falling on the region. In Wisconsin, it was time to start up snow blowers, grab snow shovels, and brush off the car. Plows are busy clearing roads in Lafayette, Indiana. In Chicago, some people had a little fun, while others got to work.
It is what it is. This is what happens when you live in Chicago. You gotta be ready for anything.
The snow now heading east. About a third of all Americans are under a winter storm watch or warning. Plows already busy today in Virginia, and the White House lawn is already covered by a thick blanket of snow. Crews in Pennsylvania are pre-treating roads.
And then once that snow starts to accumulate, we'll drop our blades and begin clearing operations really for the next couple days.
The storm is expected to last until Tuesday. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
No new coronavirus deaths were reported in North Dakota yesterday. Active cases have also hit a 6-month low. 50 people are currently hospitalized with the disease. About 9% of the state has received at least one dose of the vaccine. That's one of the highest rates in the country. If you're looking to stay on top of the latest vaccine information, get our new VNL vaccine tracker. You can access national and local resources in just 2 easy steps. Just open your phone's camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. A North Dakota bill that would have required clergy members to report child abuse has been withdrawn. The bill would have included clergy in the state law as mandatory reporters of child abuse. State law requires those working in many occupations like childcare and health care to report evidence of child abuse, but clergy members are exempt. West Fargo Republican Senator Judy Lee withdrew the legislation on Friday, saying it's become a distraction. The Roman Catholic Diocese in Fargo and Bismarck opposed the bill. This month, we've experienced the real-world consequences of disinformation spreading online. The Capitol riot brought into focus something online watchers had been warning about for months. Here's Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett.
Democrats this week called for the expulsion of first-term Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene for repeating anti-Semitic tropes and amplifying dangerous as well as discredited QAnon conspiracy theories.
Right now, they're trying to expel me from Congress.
False allegations of mass election fraud, disinformation that Greene perpetrated helped fuel the deadly Capitol insurrection.
President Trump did not cause the attack on the Capitol on January 6th.
For his part, former President Trump has sidestepped QAnon, claiming he knows little about a movement at the core of his support.
I've heard these are people that love our country.
Disinformation online reached new heights in 2020. A recent study showed Facebook users interacted with deceptive posts more than 1 billion times in October, November, and December, about twice the total leading up to the 2016 election.
Even when people were increasing their news consumption overall online, their consumption of of information from the deceptive sites was even greater.
The QAnon world is rooted in a belief Mr. Trump can save society from a cabal of Democratic pedophiles running a global child trafficking ring.
It was a drug. Like, it was absolutely a drug.
We met Jatarth Jadeja, a former QAnon believer who said he lost almost 2 years of his life to the cult.
You should be really scared. These guys are dangerous. They're more dangerous than white supremacists.
Major Garrett, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump and his lead impeachment lawyers have parted ways. With his second impeachment trial just days away, it's unclear who will be on Trump's legal team. As of last week, South Carolina attorneys Butch Bowers and Deborah Barbier were expected to help represent Trump, but it was apparently a, quote, mutual decision to part ways. Trump is not planning to appear in person for the trial, but may submit a letter instead. The trial is set to begin the week of February 8th. A favorite Fargo spot just announced its reopening next month. Fargo Billiards and Gastropub announced it was closing back in November, but fans of pool, ping pong, and volleyball will be happy to hear they're coming back. The business posted the announcement to Facebook, saying they're reopening at the end of February with a new ownership structure. They're taking bookings for events now, as well as signups for their sand volleyball league. And the 37th annual John Bear Grease Sled Dog Marathon kicked off this morning in Duluth. The race usually includes about 3,000 spectators, but due to the pandemic, only race officials and the sled dog teams were allowed this year. Even though the starting line was quieter than usual, organizers say it was worth it for the show to go on. Racers are expected to cross the finish line on Tuesday. Later on Valley News Live at 10, it's the first year of a new W-4 form. We'll tell you why tax experts say your refund may be much smaller than you're expecting.
And here's that almanac for Fargo today. 27 degrees, 7 degrees above average for this time of year. Woke up this morning at 20 degrees. That's 19 degrees above average for where we should be for those morning low temperatures. Our friends in Grand Forks, also 8 degrees above average for this time of year. I'm tracking a busy week of weather ahead. I'll have your forecast next.